And we're moving to the last chapter of today's conference. So we have three things. We're really looking forward to see Mario Campolargo on stage to wrap it up, and then Boštjan Koritnik, who was opening the conference. And then we're going to give the relay stick to the French colleagues. So Mr. Mario Campolargo, the stage is yours.
Hello, everybody. What a pleasure to be with you this afternoon. And I was tempted to say again, because this week gave me the opportunity to meet in several constellations some of you. And I'm so pleased. But my first words are first to thank you, Matej, for your support in the various meetings that we had this afternoon. But I'd like essentially to thank the Minister Koritnik by his warm, wholehearted engagement in the topics of digital government with a human face. But dear friends from the Slovenian Organizing Committee, dear colleagues, dear friends from the European, or maybe I should say, indeed, the global e-government community, I really want to say to all of you a very big thank you, because this week was so important for all of us. And today we come to the end of what I see as an extremely rich day of exchanges on how best to design and to run together digitally powered human-centric public services. The end of today's conference is also, as I mentioned in the very beginning, the wrap-up of what I would call a week of intense digital government relevant exchanges. We started with the SEMIC, the Semantic Interoperability Conference, and yesterday we had the opportunity to meet the CIOs, the Chief Information Officers, in a very intense discussion, and here we are today in this conference. So I'd like to reiterate a very warm thank you to Minister Koritnik and his team for the excellent and intense, I would say intense, cooperation around this event that overall are underlying joint advances in public sector digital transformation all across Europe. And allow me to highlight one aspect that I find particularly important, that is how much we demonstrated the spirit of partnership and cooperation that I think that is particularly timely and very appropriate given the big and common challenges. And obviously, when we talk about common challenges, I think that we can also derive common opportunities for all of us. So a big thank you. I'm personally very convinced that digital government is a founding stone. And when I use the word founding stone, I mean a cornerstone and a stepping stone for the success of what I would call digital made in Europe. Digital transformation must be driven by openness, inclusion, fairness, accountability, trust, like one of the colleagues said in the previous debate. Because indeed what we need as public administrations is to be able to create value for our people, for our businesses. And it's my firm conviction that public administrations can only be sustainable if we base ourselves on common values. And I would add on common European values. And therefore, the way to achieve this is partnership. It's partnership. It's partnership and cooperation. If we achieve partnership and cooperation on digital government, then we have the basis to achieve a European value-based digital transformation. This is something that we may not have yet totally from a structural point of view today, but I'm super encouraged by what I see in headlines and the strands of this very same conference. We have words like human-centric, working together, thinking local, vulnerable users, democracy, global and neighborhood cooperation. So this means in practice that we are debating the spirit that I find absolutely fundamental. That is, we have to partner, we have to cooperate, both in practice and structurally. The human centricity and the cooperation put very high on the presidency agenda by our fellow colleagues from Slovenia, in my view, continues simply a very strong engagement path that was already taken by earlier presidencies. And here I want to make a short reference to the e-government or digital government declarations in the early stages from Tallinn, more recently from Berlin, that was itself called a declaration that was on the digital society and on a value-based digital government, and also follow up by the Portuguese presidency with the engagement of private and public sector, also linking digital and green. I'm also very pleased that the incoming French presidency is committed to continuing this path. So all in all, I'm also very reassured by the continued commitment that and engagement that we have amongst us. But today I would like to highlight also the international partners that joined us in this discussion, and I would like to welcome in particular the Western Balkans. I believe that the European Union and its closest partners win from this deep engagement in the digital public sector transformation based on common values. But dear friends, just about to conclude my intervention, let me look a bit to the future. And that's how I would like actually to end this brief intervention. It's to look ahead on one particular set of elements of our digital government agenda that is to come. Let me first start to refer to the Digital Europe program, so important for all of us. We already started the implementation of it with a large set of public sector relevant components. I could mention data spaces. I could mention the use of artificial intelligence, or I could think about the notion of local digital twins or regional innovation hubs. All of those subchapters within the Digital Europe program are very important opportunities for all of us, for the public administrations. Of course, the aspects of interoperability have a particularly important and dedicated chapter, as we all together want next year to start experimenting with, for example, the novelty of European partnerships on GovTech. And throughout this week, I had the opportunity to see how France, how Germany, how Ireland, how so many other countries are already engaging with the innovation ecosystem through precisely launching hackathons or initiatives, either national, regional, or even European, in what can be called the GovTech sector. But also from our side, in the context of the Digital Europe program, we would like to have all of you joining the planned partnership of member states' innovation labs to work precisely with GovTech companies. Let me take another example still on the domain of interoperability amongst all of us. And this is the amazing work that we are doing all together to shape the future of the interoperability policies. We have worked with an European interoperability framework that gave a lot of results, again, locally, regional, or nationally, or at European level, even in other countries around the world. But it was a voluntary-based initiative. Now, if we are serious about implementing EU policies in a post-COVID, where the demands and the needs to interact with the citizens and the needs to interact with citizens that move in Europe, if we want to do that, we need to reiterate on the basics of the interoperability. And maybe it needs to go from a voluntary basis to a more evolved notion of an interoperability policy. Actually, I would like to see it not as an interoperability policy, but I would like to put the focus on the result that is an interoperable Europe. And I find that this is a fundamental instrument for us as the Europe's public sector to be able not just to develop and maintain interoperability solutions, but to serve better our citizens and our businesses across Europe. But let me be very clear on this process. No new interoperability policy can or should be designed, especially in such an area that involves all the public administrations in Europe, without, again, the partnership and the cooperation that I mentioned before. I think that this new policy needs to be an example on how public sector transformation can succeed, and it can only succeed as a community, co-creating, working together, ensuring, in one word, the digital sovereignty of Europe by co-creating interoperability. Dear colleagues, big thanks for this event, for the debate. Thank you for allowing me not just to have a little bit of a reflection on the past events, but sharing with you how I see some important dimensions for the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mario Campolargo, for these final comments, wrapping up actually the full week of events and also today's intense conference. Now, really concluding it, welcome on stage, Minister Boštjan Kuritnik, for final comments by the Slovenian presidency.
Thank you very much, dear participants, dear friends. We are almost at the end of today's conference. I would like to thank you for staying with us, and I'm sure it was worth it. We have heard a lot of excellent ideas, experiences, opinions, and plans, which we can now take and use as an inspiration for our further work and cooperation. Together, we have succeeded to come to an end of this conference, and although the COVID-19 situation didn't allow us to hold the conference live in Ljubljana, and you have missed the most beautiful Christmas market, we proved that fantastic results are possible even in these circumstances. The theme of today's conference was Human-Centric digital transformation, and we cannot imagine this transformation without you, the people. It was very valuable to hear your voices and voices of our end users, and we were listening, and now it's time to go further and take action for our common good. At this point, I would like to express my sincere thanks to all the speakers, moderators, everyone who helped to organize today's conference. Above all, I thank my organizing team at the IT Directorate that made this event possible. I believe they did a marvelous job. On behalf of the Slovenian presidency of the Council of the EU, thank you for your shared knowledge and ideas. And with this, I pass the microphone to France. I wish a lot of success to your presidency. Thank you and stay safe.
Thank you very much. And yes, this was the final step of this conference. And the next step is towards the next one, which is under the French colleagues. So let me just check if they are here. I can see Alisa Boot is here from Dinub. She is sharing the presentation, but we do see you now. So Alisa, welcome on stage. So this is it. We're ending and you are starting. So
okay, thank you very much. Can you actually see my presentation?
We can see the presentation. It is in the edit mode, so if you can put it in a slideshow mode, that would be even better, but we can see it, yeah.
Yes, sure. I'll do it now. Is it working now?
No, it's still in the edit mode, so it's still not in a slideshow mode.
Okay, sorry about that. I will present anyway. Dear Minister Kurutnik, dear General Director Campolago, dear colleagues, please allow me to quickly introduce myself. My name is Alisa Aboud. I work at the French Interministerial Digital Directorate in Paris, and I'm very responsible for institutional relations and the preparation of the French presidency of the Council that will take place in January 2022. So first, we would like to thank and congratulate our Slovenian colleagues for the outstanding events they had organized, enabling high-quality debates, and for the floor will be given also to present the 3 events that our directorate will be organizing in the next few weeks. So the first event is called the Tech for Government pitch session. It's a contest of GovTech solutions carried out by member states administration. It will take place on 10 January 2022 in Paris. So teams from all around Europe willing to share innovative solutions will present their projects in front of a European jury. This event will really promote cooperation between European administrations on the theme of the digital transformation of the public sector and give visibility to concrete digital products of European interest with a strong potential of wider reuse. And we want open source solutions aligned with European interoperability framework to gain visibility for this event. So finalists of this event taking place in Paris will be allowed, have the opportunity to actually present their solution in front of the 27 member states minister in charge of public administration gathered for the European Union Public Administration Network. This event will take place in Strasbourg on 10 February 2022. The second event will be a workshop on cloud computing. We would like to commonly identify and discuss best practices regarding cloud computing dedicated for public administration within the EU, and also have the ambition to draw up an exhaustive panorama of cloud strategies. This workshop will be organized only online at the end of January 2022. And the agenda is meant to be participative. So we will send an invitation to all cloud experts within the European Union to commonly build on the agenda and to choose between themes they want to address during this workshop. And finally, third event will be the classic CIO network meeting taking place in April. We hope in the premises of the French Prime Minister's office in Paris, and it will be a good occasion to do a first state of play of the Berlin Declaration implementation in member states. if you have any more questions, want to have more information about our agenda, we will be absolutely delighted to discuss it with you. So don't hesitate to send us an email. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alisa, for this. We're actually looking forward to more events next year under your organization. So thank you very much. And now let me really conclude the conference here. So I want to thank everyone who came to the conference, everyone on the stage, and everybody who actually waited for this end, which is a little couple of minutes later than we planned, but I believe it was worth it. So thank you for coming. It's Friday evening, so time to relax. So I think it was worth it. It was really valuable. We can see it in the comments, in questions, answers, and chat, and so on. So again, thank you for coming, and this is it. Enjoy the rest of the weekend.